She crossed the line with a hand, not a shout, not a warning, a clean public unplug. The screen went black mid-sentence. The projector hummed, confused, then died. My words fell into the silence like cut wires. 3 minutes in, a room full of suits, a long table polished to reflect power, her chair at the head. My wife's jaw tight, eyes cold, fingers still wrapped around a cable like a trophy. "I can't listen to this crap any longer," she said loud enough to bruise. "You're embarrassing my company." "Not our company, my company." People smirked. A few whispered. Someone coughed and pretended not to look. I felt the air change, oxygen replaced by judgment, the kind that sticks. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't even look at her. I closed my laptop, slow, steady, as if time itself had bent to my hands. That was the moment the marriage ended, quietly, professionally, with witnesses. The boardroom smelled like citrus cleaner and old money. Florida to ceiling windows framed the city like a conquest. Every person there knew the rules. Speak when invited, nod when power speaks, survive by aligning with the strongest voice in the room. She was strong, she had made sure of that, I had helped. I felt eyes on my back as I slid the laptop into my bag. The silence stretched, waiting for me to break. An apology, an outburst, a plea. She wanted that. She wanted me smaller than the chair I just left. My phone buzzed once. I didn't look yet. I already knew who it was. I stood, nodded once to the room, polite, controlled, and walked out without a word. My footsteps sounded too loud in the hallway. Each one counted. Elevator doors closed. The building exhaled. I checked the message. Unknown contact. "Leave the room. She's about to learn a lesson." I smiled for the first time that day. People think betrayal feels like fire, like rage, like an explosion. They're wrong. It's cold, precise. It clarifies everything. In the elevator's mirrored walls, I saw myself clearly for the first time in years. Calm face, straight posture, a man who had finally stopped asking for permission. She hadn't just unplugged my laptop. She'd unplugged the illusion. I remembered the early days, the nights we slept under desks, the whiteboard plans, the compromises that were supposed to be temporary. I remembered signing documents without reading every clause because I trusted her, because I believed love and loyalty were mutual funds, long-term compounding. I was wrong. I wasn't the CEO, but I was the architect, and architects don't need the spotlight, they need the blueprints. By the time I reached my car, the lesson had begun. It started with a pause. Inside the boardroom, the client, our largest, most temperamental, and most profitable, leaned back in his chair. He didn't speak right away. He reread the handout I'd prepared, the one she'd interrupted, the one she hadn't bothered to understand. He asked a single question. Where did he go? She laughed it off. Of course she did. Charm was her favorite weapon. He wasn't ready, she said. "I'll handle this." The client nodded slowly. The kind of nod that isn't agreement, it's calculation. "Before you do," he said, "I'd like to speak with him alone." Her smile froze. Microseconds matter when power shifts. I taught her that. She tried again, redirected, deflected, offered metrics and projections she barely understood. He raised a hand. "No," he said, "I want the man you just unplugged." She sent an assistant to find me. The assistant didn't because by then my phone was already busy. First call, legal. Second, finance. Third, the client directly. We didn't talk long, we didn't need to. He'd already done his homework. He knew whose fingerprints were on the systems that kept the company breathing. He knew who designed the redundancies, who negotiated the contracts with the clauses everyone skimmed past. Clauses like consultant of record, clauses like non-transferable authority, clauses like revocation upon breach of conduct. Public humiliation counts as a breach, especially when documented, especially when recorded. Yes, the room had cameras. I'd installed them. By the time she realized something was wrong, it was already cascading. Her calendar locked, her access flagged, her phone buzzing with questions she couldn't answer. The CFO sweating, the board whispering, no. Longer about me, about her. She excused herself, furious now, certainty cracking at the edges. She called my name like a curse. I didn't answer. I was already 3 moves ahead. Watching the structure I'd built do what structures do when the load shifts, revealed a weakness. The client made his condition clear. Continue with me as lead consultant or the deal dissolves. No. Negotiations, no delays. Money respects competence. Ego doesn't. The board voted quickly. Survival is persuasive. By evening, she was no longer the CEO. By night she was calling me. I let it ring. When we finally sat across from each other, it wasn't in a boardroom, it was in our kitchen. The lights were low. The city outside felt distant, irrelevant. She looked smaller, not physically, strategically. You planned this, she said, not accusing, realizing. I poured a glass of water, took a sip, let the silence stretch the way she once had. I prepared for it, I said. There's a difference. She searched my face for anger, for cruelty, for the man she thought she'd broken. She found none. I made a mistake, she said. I was under pressure. I nodded. So was I for years. Her voice cracked just once. You humiliated me. I met her eyes, steady, calm. No, I said, you did that yourself. I just didn't stop it. The truth landed between us, heavy, unmovable. I slid an envelope across the table. Inside were the documents, clean, final, fairer than she deserved. What happens now? She asked. I stood, picked up my bag, the same one from the boardroom. Now, I said, you learn what happens when you mistake silence for weakness. I walked out without looking back. Some lessons only take 3 minutes. Some take everything. She unplugged my laptop. I unplugged her power. And the city kept humming indifferent as I finally stepped into a life that didn't require permission to.